Ah! God. I might be too pissed off to do this right now. Why, England? Why? Why do you insist on doing this to me? Every 2 years, like clockwork. Every 2 years you do this to me. You get my hopes up. You make me think maybe this will be the year. And then shit like this happens. Russia! That's the shittest Russia team I've seen. And I've seen some pretty shit Russian teams. They've not been that good lately. That is the shittest Russian team I've ever seen. I don't even know how they got to the tournament. And we've just made them look like a Tony Pulis Stoke side that no one can beat. My references are getting dated. That's how pissed off I am. Tony Pulis hasn't managed Stoke in years. How's it going? You can tell how it's going for me. If you're an England football fan, I know how it's going, and I apologise for asking. Just have a drink. It'll be all right. England have managed to draw with Russia 1-1, but it doesn't feel like a draw. We've lost 1-1. We've managed, and to be honest, England, like they're specially talented. You know, if you gave out trophies to teams for qualifying campaigns, England would be the most decorated team on the planet. 10 out of 10, no problem. Get to a major tournament, pfft, I'll be fucked if we can even get a goal, let alone a win. And it's just so frustrating. I can't even get my thoughts in order. I mean, we played alright, we weren't great, but we weren't bad. You know, for an opening game to a tournament, that was really all I could have asked for. You know, minus the last 2 or 3 minutes. And we were just right, we were right there. We were right there, we had the win. It was a tough game, Russia were a bitch to break down, but we got the goal. We could have just swept up, held out, moved on. Let's go and play Wales, have a nice friendly kickabout, draw 1-1, get both of us into the next round. It would have been simple. It was all right there. And we somehow managed to pull a draw out of the jaws of defeat. Jaws of victory even, like. Oh, it's like the opposite of watching United in the 90s. You know, you're watching England thinking, all right, they're 1-0 up, but I guarantee you they're going to lose this game. Mark my words. Guarantee you they're not winning this game. It's like an abusive relationship, really. I mean, like, I keep thinking they're going to change, you know, but they keep hitting me. I keep thinking, you know what? They were really sorry last time. They made a list of all the problems. You know, they moved out all the old players. They brought in the young blood. They brought in the young players. They've learned their lesson. Roy, he knows better now. You know, yeah, he's a couple years older. He's a couple years wiser. He's had some experience. He knows what he's doing. He's got some good players. Surely it will be different. No, it's not. It never is. England have it written into their DNA to be disappointing and frustrating, because for large portions of that game I was feeling both of those emotions. Outside of, you know, the last 20 minutes or so when we were winning, I mean, before we cocked it up and threw it away and ruined my entire fucking day. Before that, we were actually it was very frustrating to watch us. I mean, we weren't terrible, but it was a very typical opening game of a tournament, you know. Neither side had really gotten going yet. We created a few chances here and there, but to be honest, it looked like it was going to be a one-goal game, you know. It was going to be 1-0, maybe 0-0, you know. It didn't really look like there was going to be much going on in the game. Russia had nothing going forward. The fact that we've conceded a goal to that Russian team disgusts me. Even more than the result. I'd have rather drawn 0-0 than drawn 1-1 like that, because that Russian team is just awful. And we couldn't even beat them. Wales have gone and beaten Slovakia. Good on them. You know, well fought, well-deserved victory. But Wales and Slovakia are both better than Russia. And we've got to go play them now. And because we haven't managed to get a victory, somehow we haven't managed to beat Russia, you just don't, you know, there's no confidence in the team. You know, the problem for me is, like, I know I'm not really talking about the game itself, because to be honest, there wasn't much to talk about, alright? I can sum it up right here. Wing-backs played well, centre-backs were hit and miss, Wayne Rooney played a lot better than everybody is saying he did. I don't know why people are slating him online. I thought he was probably our best player on the pitch for large portions of the game. Eric Dyer, beautiful free kick, fantastic goal, good performance from him. Dele Alli looked good when he was playing. Raheem Sterling ran into space, dribbled the ball and had terrible decision making, essentially exactly what we expect from Raheem Sterling. Harry Kane didn't really do much, but he didn't have any service, so you can't blame him. Adam Lallana missed a couple of chances early on, then ran out of steam. There you go, summed up the whole game for you from an England perspective. Now let's talk about the big picture here, because that is what I'm worried about. The problem with this isn't the result, because on the surface, it's not a disaster. We've drawn our opener. Yes, we should have won. Yes, we've conceded a 90th minute equaliser, but we've drawn our opener. All we need to do, realistically, if we win one of our two remaining games, either against Wales on Thursday or against Slovakia next Monday, we'll be through, because the way that this tournament's set up, 4 points will get you through no matter who you are, more or less. But getting 4 points sounded a whole lot easier when we already had 3 in the bag from a game against this rubbish Russia team. And now that we don't have that, it's not so much that I don't think that England are good enough to beat Wales or Slovakia. It's that the fashion in which we have pissed this game away, the way in which we've managed to not win, the way in which this just kind of feeds back into everything that England fans had been afraid of going into this tournament. They were talking up England's chances, but then also playing down England's chances. Yeah, we've got a good young squad, but they're inexperienced at major tournaments. Yeah, we've got some great players on great form, but we don't know how they do it at an international tournament. And for the most part, that is born today. That has borne fruit today. Every one of our concerns, but also every one of our, optimistic statements they've all borne fruit today, because we've seen every side of it. We've seen young players playing well. Eric Dyer, Dele Alli. I know they're not young, but Rose and Walker don't have a lot of England experience at major tournaments. They all played well. But then we've also seen the players that we were afraid weren't going to show up, not show up. Sterling, Kane, and I'm all over the place. Game finished less than half an hour ago, and I'm out of gas. I mean, never underestimate England's ability to ruin your whole fucking day with one football match. I mean, a 0-0, I would have been frustrated. I would have been disappointed, but I would have thought, you know what? It was just a miserly, thuggish Russia team that we couldn't break down, and it was our first game. We'll get going. But the fact that we've had the game in the palm of our hands and thrown it away means that come the morning, the Mirror, the Telegraph, the Daily Mail, the Sun, all of them will plaster their back pages with reports of how England are rubbish, and they will slate every single one of them. Mark my words, they will slate Harry Kane, they will slate Raheem Sterling, they'll even slate Wayne Rooney, even though he was probably one of our best players today. They will still slate Wayne Rooney, and that is what bothers me. That is what worries me more than the result. The result is the result. We've got a draw, let's move on. But now we've got the best part of a week now to wait until Thursday for the Wales match. And we're going to go into that game with all of the pressure in the world on our shoulders now, because we're playing a Welsh team who's won their game, who knows that they don't need to win, but will be rolling in momentum and fanfare, and there'll just be so many good vibes coming from that Wales team that maybe I'm too close to the England result to give a fair assessment, but right now I can't see us beating Wales. And Slovakia is hit and miss. I think Slovakia were better than Russia. So they certainly have better players than Russia do. Marek Hamšík can cause you problems. Martin Skirl could kick the lumps out of a steel beam. And I'm worried. And I didn't want to be worried. I wanted the game to end 1-0 and we could all sit back, have a laugh, have a drink, watch some movies, watch the rest of the football for the rest of the week, and just sort of say, well, we got 3 points in the bag, so let's coast into the Wales game and surely we'll go through somehow. But now that we need points from our last 2 games, I don't see us getting them. Because these points that we had in front of us, the points that we had in our hand today against Russia, were the easiest 3 points we were going to get in this group. And the fact that we've not managed to get those, what makes you think we're going to get any of them? We can't beat Wales playing with that kind of mentality. We can't beat Slovakia playing with that kind of mentality. We're going to get picked off. And I wish it was a surprise. I wish it was out of character. I wish it was something that we could just disregard as being bad luck, but it's not. It's symptomatic of the problem that England have had for the last 20 years, for my entire life. England have never had any confidence in themselves going into major tournaments. And what does that do? What does drawing that game do for that confidence? What we needed is, we didn't even need a good performance. We just needed a victory in this game. We needed to shake that curse of having never won an opening game at a European Championships. And we were so close. We were 60 seconds from what would have been a good result to then take into the Wales match and then go from there. But I don't want to talk about what woulda, coulda, shoulda happened, because it didn't happen. We conceded a goal, an 18-yard header. Chris Smalling was watching it like it was a bloody canary, like going over his head. Just get your ass to the back post, mate. Like, if he has a bit of belief, if he has a bit of bottle in that situation, and he sees big fucker Berezutsky head that ball on the edge of the 18 box, he gets his ass under the crossbar and he says, you will chop my balls off before this crosses the line. If he does that, we win this game. We have a real scare in the 93rd minute, but we win the game, and we talk about how well Chris Smalling did to clear it off the line. But what does he do? He, like every other England player on the pitch, when that ball came in, was scared shitless. They looked like little girls. They just wanted the final whistle to go. They were so petrified of not winning that game. They were so petrified of conceding a goal from that corner that it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. If any one of them had sacked up and actually stopped Russia from putting that ball in, stopped Berezutsky from winning that header, or lo and behold, stopped the ball from going in the back of the net, it was in the air for about half an hour. Like, just get your ass underneath the goal line and head it away. And it's... I'm starting to get a bit... I think I need to cut the video off soon. I'm starting to get a bit flustered. I'm going to try and calm myself down. I'm going to try and tell myself that it's not over yet, that we've still got 2 games, and that there is every chance that England will come out and perform better in those games. But if you're an England fan watching this, you know exactly why I find it very, very difficult to put any faith in the squad after that, because it was a positive performance, yes. We had we had the lead, we looked like we were heading for a victory, yes, but ultimately we've managed to not win. And more than what happens in terms of, and more than what happens on paper in the group, with us being, second place with 1 point, tied for second with 1 point, the real problem, the real worry here is the effect that this is going to have on those players. Those players who are already tournament shy. Wayne Rooney's never been big at tournaments. Euro 2004 when he was 18, sure, but since then, he's never performed on the big stage. We don't have any players in this squad who have the experience to really gear this team up, and we just need to find it from somewhere. My man of the match, I'd probably have to give it to Eric Dyer just because he scored the goal, and it was a fine free kick, a really good goal, and it should have been the winner, but it wasn't. And I feel bad for him, because that would have been a really great story for him to tell his grandkids. He scored the winning goal in England's first ever opening day victory at a European Championships. Yeah, congratulations for that, well done. But it hasn't worked out that way, so I'll give him the man of the match. Maybe that'll cheer him up. Sure cheers me up. Anyway, yeah, I've rambled on a bit because I've done this so soon after the match that I just I haven't really had time to process anything. Hopefully in the coming days my confidence will come back. Not that it really matters whether I'm confident or not. What really matters is if England are confident or not. And we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, hopefully when I get up at 9 AM on Thursday morning, the night after, or the morning after a concert, that I won't be regretting that decision. Let's hope that I won't need to turn to the drink at 11 AM that morning. But no guarantees. The good news about this is that we can't possibly be eliminated before our final game of the group stage, so we can't have a Costa Rica situation. As long as we don't lose to Wales, I'll still have hope, if not faith, that we will go through, because I mean the Slovakia game is a coin toss, if you ask me. And to be honest, the Wales game is too. Maybe I'm talking Wales up too much. All I'm saying is that momentum is everything in international tournaments. We saw that with Costa Rica. They won their opener against Uruguay, then they beat Italy, then they were through, and then they went and beat Greece in the next round, and they got all the way to the quarterfinals. And they did that purely on momentum. Yes, they're a talented team, but if they lose their opener to Uruguay, if they draw their opener to Uruguay, they don't have that kind of momentum. It's the same for Wales. If they'd been beat today, or if they'd drawn today 1-1, if Robson Kanu hadn't scored the winner for them, they'd be in the same boat as us. They'd be worried. They'd be looking over their shoulder. But now they don't give a shit. They're over the moon. They're partying from Cardiff to Swansea right now. And I really wish that we could be doing that, because it would have been a perfect day if we could have won today. And it's not, and it never is when England are at major tournaments. Not for 20 years, not in my lifetime. So I'm still hopeful. I mean, it's going to take a few hours, maybe a few days for me to really get that sense of belief and hope back. But that is just such a blow to the gut, for everyone associated with England, in and outside, the fans, the players, the management, that is such a gut punch to lose 2 points like that. And we've seen it before in major tournaments. In 2010 against the US, in 2000 and in 2000 against Portugal, we've in 2004 against France, we've seen it before, where not getting off to a good start means that we write ourselves off, because we lose our chance to gain that momentum. And going into the Wales game off the back of a win, even if it was a scrappy 1-0, would have been a lot better than going in off the back of this, because now you just sort of think that those players are going to go out there against a decent Wales team with one world-class player in Gareth Bale and one very, very good player, Aaron Ramsey, not to mention a whole host of supporting cast who will die for their shirt. That is going to be a hell of a tough game, and I would not be surprised if we got absolutely rolled over by Wales on Thursday, because our England players have to go into that game feeling confident in order to get anything out of it. And what about that game will give them any confidence? Because it's given me nothing. It's shot every bit of confidence that I had, which wasn't a lot. It's shot every confidence I had that England were going to do anything at this tournament. And now I'm thinking about it, and I can see us going out in this group more easily than I can see us making it through to the quarterfinals, for example, or the semis. It's gutting. And if you've managed to sit through, the best part of 20 minutes of me sitting here just rambling about how frustrated and disappointed and pissed off I am that England have managed to piss in my Cheerios yet again, then you are obviously feeling the exact same way. So have a drink. It'll be alright. And hopefully a week from now, or 2 weeks from now, hopefully a week from now, we'll be sitting on 4 points, having beaten Wales 4-0, and I'll be sitting there thinking, what was I so worried about? But let's be honest, do you really see that happening? I don't. Anyway, cheers for watching if you did. If you didn't, well, you wouldn't be talking to me right now, or I wouldn't be talking to you. I don't really know how this works. That's pretty clear. But anyway, yeah. Fuck you, England.